Good morning, friends. Now we are discussing human brain as CPU. How CPU is controlling the data flow in the computer system following the instructions called as the programs. Similarly, the brain is controlling the data flow in the human body. So neurons are the living cells where the information is stored. So neurons are the storage units. Neurons are communicating with one another at the junctions called as the synapses. At a synapse, one neuron sends the message to the target neuron, that is the another cell. So the brain, human brain is consisting mainly of three parts: cerebrum, cerebellum, and brainstem. So the cerebrum is controlling, cerebrum, the yellow color part. So it is controlling the touch, vision, hearing, speech, and fine motor skills. That is what we are touching, what we are saying, so what we are hearing, and what we are speaking. So those skills are finely tuned with the help of this cerebrum, the yellow colored part, and the blue colored part, so that is cerebellum. So it is fine tuning the muscle movement, and it is controlling the body balance and body posture, how we bend, how we turn, how we sit, how we stand. So that is the body posture. So and motor learning. The brain stem, the chocolate colored stick like structure. So this stick, that is the brain stem, is connecting the base of the brain to the spinal cord of the body. The frontal lobe, this blue colored part, so it is helping in critical thinking, planning, motivation, and feeling of self awareness and reward. The parietal lobe, so that is the yellow colored part, so it is receiving and processing the sensory input such as what we touch, uh, what we get pressurized, heat, cold, and the body pain. So these things will be taken care by the parietal lobe. So that is the sensory input will be processed in the parietal lobe. So what we sense is taken care by parietal lobe, such as the touch, pressure, heat, cold, and pain. The occipital lobe, so that is this thread-like structure, is processing visual information. What we see in the outside world, what we grasp through our eyes, so that will be processed with the help of this occipital lobe. So this light colored part, so that is light green colored part, so that is the temporal lobe, so that is managing our emotions, processing the information, what you have sensed, the information stored, and retrieving the old memories and understanding the language we hear. So that will be taken care by this light green colored part, so that is temporal lobe. Now we are comparing human brain with the computer CPU system. So the brain is constituted with neurons and synapses, whereas the computer is constructed using IC, transistors, diodes, capacitors. Then human brain, the memory growth of the brain will increase every time the synaptic links are connected. Whereas in computer, the memory growth of the computer will be increased by adding memory chips. By adding memory chips to the computer, so memory growth will be increased. But in human brain, every time the synaptic links are connected. So synapses is the link where one neuron, as we discuss here, so that is neurons are communicating with one another at the junctions called synapses. So by adding more synaptic links, so memory growth will happen in the human brain. So the brain has a built-in backup system. So that is God gift. So the brain is having built-in backup system. Whereas in computer, so it is manually constructed. The backup system is manually constructed. Here in human brain, the input or the output equipment is our sensory organs, like our skin. So what we sense, like heat or cold. So the input or output equipment is sensory organ. But in computer, the input or output equipment is like a keyboard, mouse, monitor. In human brain, the energy consumption is 12 watts of power. But in computer, the energy consumption is in terms of gigawatts of power. So human brain is energy consumption is only 12 watts, but in computer the energy consumption is measured in terms of gigawatts. In human brain, the information is stored as electrochemical and electric impulses. But in computer, the information is stored in numeric and symbolic form, that is binary digits. The weight of the human brain is around 3.3 pounds, whereas in computer, the size and weight is varying depending on the type of the system from a few grams to few tons. Brain is self-organized, but computer is having a pre-programmed structure. Brain is reliable and self-maintaining, whereas computer is performing a monotonous job. It cannot rectify its mistakes on its own. Thank you, friend.